Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Draconic Sports video. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to our own Discord's very hottest takes. Now, we put out an announcement in our Discord asking everybody in there for their hottest sports takes, just in general. Every sport, any sport, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, all of that. And we're going to go through all of them, and we're going to give you guys the hottest ones, and we're going to discuss them and whether or not we agree on them or they're way too hot and way too unreasonable. Make sure to comment down below your own hot takes for any sport that you really are passionate about, like the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, or maybe even a soccer league. You know, we might have to look into that one. But yeah, make sure to comment down below your guys' hot takes, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also make sure to join the Discord that we're getting these hot takes from in the description, because it's a lot of fun, the discussions we have in there with all of these different types of sports fans, and we'd love to see you guys in there as well having these same discussions. Anyways, without further ado, let's just get right into these really hot takes. Alright, so the first hot take we have for this video is from Moody's, who says Travis Hunter is a bust. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty crazy. That's a crazy way to start out. What are your thoughts on this one, Aqua?
They phrased it as bust, so not like overhyped, which that's definitely a plausible thing. People are saying that Travis Hunter is going to be elite on both sides of the ball. That right there, that and saying that it's not going to quite be that. That's something. Saying he's going to be a bust, meaning like he will not be in the NFL in like a decade, like even within like the end of this decade, is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter is considered the greatest, two-way college player of all time, basically, at this point. And he's probably gonna end up being one of the best two-way players in the NFL, like, of all time. Like, just because there hasn't been that many. I mean, there's been Dion, there's been, I guess, like, a few guys have tried to play corner. I can't really think of many wide receivers off the top of my head. I know Matthew Slater plays, he used to play special teams and wide receiver for the Patriots. Other than that, I can't really think of many guys. So just based off the fact that not many have been able to do it, Travis Hunter might go down as the second best behind Dion or the best two-way player of all time. And I don't think there's any way he can be a bust because of how good he is on both sides of the ball. Like, he's either going to be, a top 30, maybe even top 20 at his peak wide receiver, or he's going to be, a top 10 corner or a top 15 corner at his peak. So it's either one. He's going to be one of the best players in the league at one of those two positions, if not both. And yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't add up, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like he could like struggle at one of them at the next level, and then like he'll still probably be good at least minimum one of them. One would assume, and like as you were saying, like there haven't really been a lot of two-way players, at least not since like the 1940s. But yeah, bust is just too far. This is too hot of a take.
Yeah, I would just say we both don't agree with this one. Sadly, we want to, or I don't know if we want to, but I mean,
it'd be funny for the content, funny for the comment, but yeah, we can't endorse this one.
Yeah, a little too hot for us. And then for the next hot take, we have from the same post, from the same guy, Moody's, we have Tyler Shuck as the best QB of this past NFL draft, which is kind of crazy too, because this guy wasn't even projected. What was he even projected? Top 10? He wasn't. He definitely wasn't top 5.
Some people had him as like QB3, though. Like it wasn't necessarily the most common consensus thing, and like it felt like it was like I think it's like mocked third round. Competition, yeah, obviously from this draft class is if Milrow works out, that could be big. Ward obviously #1 pick, and then like maybe Shador lights it up in the Browns after being humbled by his placement in the draft. Like there's other QBs in this draft that one would assume would work out better than Shuck, but Moody's has decided that Shuck will be the best, and I cannot endorse this, especially considering the fact he has the big disadvantage of being drafted by the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints are just not good enough all around as an organization and as a football team. And yeah, there's no way you're telling me some guy that the Saints drafted in the second round is going to be better than A, the #1 overall pick in Cam Ward, and B, either Monroe or Shador, like Aqua said. So this take also very crazy. and a little too wild for us, so we are going to have to disagree with this one as well. All right, for the next two hot takes, we have it from the same post from JSN, which is, first up, an NFL hot take, saying Jalen Milroe would become the starter for the Seahawks by week 10, which, I mean, it is Sam Darnold starting at the quarterback position, which is pretty crazy to say, as somebody, who's living in 2025 who not even 2 years ago thought Sam Darnold was completely done. So it's not that crazy, but at the same time, Sam Darnold did throw like 40 touchdowns last season, so he was balling out. And would his comeback season end by week 10? There is a shot. What do you think, Aqua?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, I feel like this hot take's like making it as like a positive more for Milroe. I'm gonna be honest, based on everything I've seen from Milroe, he's nowhere near ready to be an NFL QB at throwing the ball. Like he can scramble, obviously, as you've seen his elite talent on scrambling. But yeah, his accuracy leaves so much to be desired. It feels like it would just be AR all over again if you started him this soon. And frankly, like I said, if Sam Darnold is benched by week 10, you're probably tanking the rest of the season. And honestly, even then, I think I'd rather just tank with Sam at that point. So, I mean, it's possible. I just think that the way they're phrasing it makes it sound like it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And then for the second hot take in this post, we have an NBA hot take saying the Wolves will win the chip and Ant will win Finals MVP. Considering the Wolves just beat the Lakers, it is doable because people were saying the Lakers are top 5, but the Wolves would have to go through the Warriors. Then on top of that, OKC Thunder, and then they would have to face either the Celtics, Pacers, or Cavs or somebody like that. And so, yeah, that's just not going to happen in my opinion. The Wolves aren't good enough offensively and, like, defensively. Like, their offense, I mean, it's very off and on, it seems like, and their defense is kind of average compared to other teams like OKC's and the Celtics. So they just don't have the roster, to be honest, to win an NBA championship. I mean, but Ants would obviously win Finals MVP. Like, there's no way you're telling me Rudy Gobert or Jaden McDaniels would win Finals MVP over Ants if they were to win. But no, the Wolves, they're not going to come close to winning a championship. I mean, maybe the conference finals, but that's their peak. And they're probably going to get swept in the conference finals or gentlemen swept in 5. All right, so we have our first college football hot take of the night, which is Penn State flops this year, going 7-5. Aqua, what do you have to say about this one?
I'm just gonna read out their schedule, and if anyone can tell me where they're losing 5 games, I'll be shocked. Nevada, FIU, Villanova, Oregon. Right? There might be one. UCLA, Northwestern, Iowa. Sure, why not? We'll stretch and say that's a loss. Ohio State, once again, maybe that's another loss. So we're at 3. Indiana, they just lost their QB, so I'm gonna say no on that. Michigan State, as much as I love that team, yeah, not happening. Nebraska, I guess we'll stretch it. And then Rutgers, that's 4 with me really stretching 2 losses. I just can't see how you get 5 losses out of this team with this schedule. It's just too easy for 5 losses, even if they regress. So, no.
Hey, you have it from the expert, folks. Penn State, no way in heck they're getting 5 losses. All right, and then we have another NBA hot take from Dell here at the bottom saying Cooper Flagg won't win Rookie of the Year. Speaking as an NBA fan and an NFL fan and just an overall sports fan, that's pretty blasphemous, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty crazy. Cooper Flagg is the overall consensus number 1 overall pick. Not as big as Wembanyama was 2 years ago, but pretty darn close. Cooper Flagg is, literally played on the U.S. men's team. Like, he practiced, or he didn't play on it, sorry. He practiced on the U.S. men's Olympic team against LeBron freaking James, guys. And he was only 18 years old, or 19, whatever. Bro, this kid is literally a teenager. And he's playing against professional guys that have been playing in the league for like 10 plus years. And he was, holding his own. He's not, of course, going to beat LeBron in a 1v1, but he's holding his own, which is crazy to say. And at that point, he wasn't even, he was probably going to be the number 1 overall pick. And now he is going to be the number 1 overall pick by whoever gets him in the lottery. And yeah, It's just there's no way. The guys below him, I can't name many of them. I forget. There's this one guy that's supposed to be consensus number 2 overall pick. I forget his name, but I know for sure he ain't gonna be better than Cooper Flag when it comes time for the season. Like as long as Cooper Flag goes to a team that's gonna use him like Duke did, like run an offense through him, or at least at the least have him as the second offensive option. Like if he goes to the Pelicans and he's behind Zion, or if he goes to the Hornets, or if he goes to I don't even know, the Bulls or somebody like that, the offense is gonna run through him one way or another, and there's no way he doesn't average at least 15 points a game. Probably closer to 19 points a game. So yeah, Cooper Flag, there's just no way he doesn't win Rookie of the Year. All right, so for our next hot take, we have Nick saying that Bryce Young is a top 7 quarterback next year. That's pretty crazy. I mean, going from bottom 5 to maybe 20th, no, probably not even 20th, maybe 23rd, 24th-ish, right in the middle of the bad QBs, quote unquote, by the end of the season, because he had that little run. So he's probably right around 23rd, 24th. Saying he's going to go from that spot to top 7 in one off season is kind of crazy. What do you think, Aqua?
Yeah. So first of all, saying bottom 5 QB last season is incredibly generous to Young as 2023 campaign. It's yeesh. And then 2024 obviously had a hot ending to it, which obviously I expect him to improve because he started putting things together. But top 7, I mean, who let's think of all the QBs he'd have to be. He has to be ahead of what gives him leeway does that give him? He has to be worse than 6 QBs. He has to be only worse than Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Stafford, Goff, Hurts.
Yeah. There's no way.
That's not even the exhausted list. I'm probably forgetting another high end starter in the league off the top of my head. But that I already just named 7, 8 QBs that they has to be ahead of. That there's just no way.
Yeah, the logistics don't add up. This guy's probably a Panthers fan. I'm not gonna lie. Or he's either.
Funnily enough, bro is a Bucks fan.
I mean, then he's probably just he's probably one of those people that feels bad for Bryce Young, which, I mean, there are a lot of people out there. I'm one of them, but I'm not feeling bad so much for him that I'm going to go ahead and say he's top 10, let alone top 7. So, yeah, let's hold back on that, just till the end of next season, and then we can make a...
That might cook top half, but 7?
Yeah, top half is a lot more reasonable, and I'd probably say that myself, but top 7, I mean, that's top half cut in half, which is crazy. All right, and then we have another hot take from this same post later down the line, and it says the Falcons make the playoffs. Aqua, I'll let you rant on this one.
So, if anyone doesn't know, we have our Discord. We received the icon with a team we find to be a laughing stock, and it pretty much has been nonstop the Falcons since the existence of this Discord, and it's basically been an inside joke at this point of our community. And just put simply, they were supposed to be good the last 3 seasons. It feels like it was supposed to be revolutionary. Oh. Well, they got, for example, last year, they got Kirk Cousins. They have a legit QB now, and, they won 7 games with literally the worst QB in the league. So this year, they got to make the playoffs, and they even swept the Bucks and still didn't make the playoffs. I didn't think that was possible. It's crazy what they can do. Oh, look, Kyle Pitts is going to be, this new revolutionary tight end. Yeah. That's how that's been going. I don't know. Even if you believe in Penix, which we don't really know much about Penix, we've seen him play 3 games. He's 1 and 2 in those games. Even if he's good, then he has to be better than the Bucks, and even in the rising Panthers. Obviously, I'm not going to argue that the Falcons would be worse than the Saints. I think the Saints might literally be the number 1 overall pick next season. But I just can't see them being better than the Bucks. I can't see them being better than the Panthers. They literally lost to the Panthers to end the season. Are you kidding me? This team just feels like a joke, and it just feels like this team's gonna go win 7 games next season, or maybe win 9. It's crazy.
Yeah, if people are hyping up Penix, I mean, I don't know what to do. at that point. I mean, Penix has not shown nearly as much as you would need him to in order for the Falcons to do anything worthy of making the playoffs. And so I feel like Falcons fans are just people that believe in the Falcons for some reason are going to be in for a rude awakening come next season.
Yeah, it's basically a golden rule of this Discord server that the Bears and the Falcons cannot be trusted until they show that they can be trusted. Which, spoiler alert, they haven't shown that they are trustable. Heck, even with they 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, they were not
All right,
trustworthy.
all right. That might have been a little
Okay,
too
that was a
far.
little far, but like
Wow, the
you get the
Falcons fan
point.
is now crying in the corner of their room because of that one.
The Falcon fans are gonna leave so many comments.
Hey, I mean that's free engagement, just milk the Falcons sucking. That's pretty easy to do.
Quick, I need to upset more people. Eagles are gonna suck next season. Yep, that's totally my take. Yep, this is not rage bait.
All right, next up we have another hot take from JSN saying Justin Herbert becomes one of the worst QBs in the league next year. Wow, I didn't know we were. I mean, I like to hate on Herbert now the fact that he choked away that playoff game against the Texans throwing 4 interceptions, but man, I feel like that's the next level. I mean, Herbert's still top 10. At this point, he might be borderline. He just has not been consistent at all in the past few years. And to be honest, it's not totally his fault because his offense has changed, but saying he goes from, definitely top 10 for the past 4 years to one of the worst QBs, that's crazy. Because one of the worst means you're at least bottom 10, and you're probably like, closer to bottom 5 than you are closer to bottom 10 if you're saying one of the worst. So that's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like that hot take at all. It is very hot though. I respect the urgent, scorching hotness of that take.
I mean, yeah, it's not like Herbert's coming off an injury or anything, so it's not like there's anything to justify him like regressing 1,000,000,000%. Like last year, he was an efficient passer. Obviously, like I said, he did a terrible job in the playoffs, but that will give Herbert at least this. That was a pretty hard defense to play against, and he basically has one consistent receiving target. But even then, like I said, yeah, I don't know. I think he definitely deserves some hate for that playoff game. I mean, you do 4 interceptions. It's just an insane amount of interceptions. But like also worse, like we're talking about like you might be worse than a backup. That's what we're getting to the point of like he was a very accurate passer. He's at least completing more than 50% of his passes. That's more than AR. Like it's not like Will Levis giving us meme clips.
Yeah, true.
Like I can think of so many worse QBs that are going to be starting next year. I mean, whoever the Steelers are going to start. I mean,
Oh yeah, no. Aaron
Herbert will probably
Rodgers.
be back.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna look terrible out there if he does. So yeah.
Heck, he's definitely better than Justin Fields, the starting QB of the Jets. Like I said, I just don't think he's going to
Yeah.
be in that worst conversation, even if he regresses a bunch. But like, yeah, this is I can't really ground this take at all.
Yeah. There's just no way to like justify this, and it does seem it's a little bit of rage bait. But I mean, he did put it along with a few other takes, so it does kind of seem like he is trying to be reasonable with this one, but it can't be reasonable really at the end of the day. Like, there's no way to justify it. So yeah, that's how we're gonna end off this take. Not great, but I mean, it is pretty spicy.
Before we get into the last hot take, there are some more reasonable hot takes. So we didn't do all the ones that are posted in the Discord. Of course, if you want to read the hot takes that are in our Discord, just feel free to join the Discord and maybe even post your own while you're there.
All right, so for our last hot take of this video, we have Aaron saying having a strong arm as a quarterback is the most overrated measurable quality.
This
That
is an interesting one.
Yeah, we saved this one, guys, for last because we really did see the different ways you could take this. I mean, you could completely agree with him, you could slightly agree with him, or you could just say this guy is completely wrong. I don't know what to think about this one.
I mean, it depends on how we define strong arm. Every time he's talking about like having the ability to do the deep ball because like it depends on the offensive scheme. To be honest, when it comes to deep balls,
Yeah,
like you're talking about like the Bengals, a deep ball is pretty valuable. But if you're
yeah,
talking like
the
the
Lions.
freaking Like actually, Lions still have JMO, so actually that's a bad example.
I know. I would just say Jared Goff doesn't have the greatest deep ball accuracy compared to other quarterbacks. I mean, look at Herbert. Herbert can throw the deep ball like no other. I mean, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, deep ball thrower in the league. It's probably Josh Allen though.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys just chucking sidearms. I mean, like
Yeah.
sidearms takes a strong arm too, because you're just pulling out of the pocket and you're slinging it in these small little holes, you know. So
It unlocks like an extra level, but if you've seen like starting QBs, I mean, Bo Nix managed to do a pretty good rookie campaign, and his arm's not exactly known as like a cannon or anything.
yeah, true.
And like an AR, he has like one of the strongest arms like ever, and then he's like missing everything. So
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels took his team to the championship game. Wouldn't consider him a strong arm, accurate but not strong arm. You
yeah,
know. So yeah, I would say, yeah, it does have more to do with the offensive scheme and the physical gifting of the quarterback.
I would say it's
That
more of a like a good secondary kind of trait to have, but like if it just because you have a good deep arm does not make you a good QB.
yeah, it's a lot more nuance saying it's overrated. There's a lot more nuance to it because yeah, I would agree. It's not like it's not something you would write down as like one of their top attributes on a draft report. You'd rather want to write down, their IQ, their accuracy, their red zone reads. You'd rather want to like write down that stuff more than like, just having number 1 strong arm. Like, at the end of the day, nobody really cares about a strong arm over those other attributes. So yeah, I would say it's like a second tier skill to have. It helps out a lot, but at the end of the day, you don't need a strong arm per se. I mean, Tom Brady never had the strongest arm in the NFL when he was playing. Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and even Matt Ryan maybe or Phil Rivers had stronger arms than him, but they didn't win, all those Super Bowls. So at the end of the day, yeah, it probably is an overrated measurable, but only to a certain degree. I would say there's a lot more nuance to say it's like the most overrated, but I would consider it somewhat overrated. So I would agree with this hot take, actually. This would be one of the only ones in this video that I would not have a problem with agreeing with.
Yeah, I'd say it's like it can add the extra dimension to your game, but there are many other traits you can have that can make up for it. Like I said, like maybe a really good scrambler or a very accurate passer. Like there's other ways to make up for not having a strong arm. Like it's just not like an end all be all thing.
Yeah. And I would say we both agree on this to a degree. But at the end of the day, there is a little bit of truth and a little bit of flaw to this take, but overall, really solid take to end off the video with. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And as Aqua stated earlier, and as I stated earlier as well, make sure to join the Discord in the description down below. We'd love to have you. And as always, we will see you guys in the next video. Peace!
Bye.